This original WSRE presentation is made possible by viewers like you. Thank you. Funding for this program is provided by the Santa Rosa Island Authority, located on beautiful Pensacola Beach, Florida, featuring a wide variety of shopping and entertainment venues, fresh from the Gulf seafood, spectacular lodging, brilliant white sand beaches, and wildlife encounters. Pensacola Beach, waiting for you and your family to explore.
The Gulf Coast is home to a wide variety of creatures, great and small. But the joy of observing the region's wildlife sometimes changes to concern whenever we come upon animals that are orphaned or injured. It's good to know there are several organizations devoted to caring for and rehabilitating wild animals. And if you happen to find yourself along the northern Gulf Coast, you'll be glad to discover them right in your own backyard. People love their pets, and if the family cat or dog becomes sick or injured, we don't hesitate to take them to the vet. But what if we encounter an injured wild animal on the beach, or in the woods, or perhaps in our own backyard? In the greater Pensacola area, one of the places to turn for help is the Wildlife Sanctuary of Northwest Florida.
We take in injured and orphaned wildlife, and that really is our main mission. So we have a nursery for the orphaned babies that come in, and we have a hospital for the injured. And anything that we can get back released, that's wonderful. And that really is your main goal, is you're trying to rehabilitate and release, and you're giving them a second chance.
It's our Bobcat. She's right in here. We've had her for a couple of weeks now. She's actually got a fractured hip. We don't usually name our animals here at the sanctuary when they're releasable, but we did name this one because she's so special. Her name is Willow. With the broken hip, she doesn't feel very good, so she's very docile because she's in pain. She doesn't move around very much, which we don't want her to move around very much. With animals like your cat or dog at home, when they have a break, you can stabilize it, you can put the collar on them and everything, and you can keep them from messing with the break. But with wildlife, that's usually not possible. They won't tolerate something like that, and you end up doing more harm than good. So the best thing is to just keep them as immobile and contained as possible while the fracture heals.
And that's all you can hope for, is that second chance where you've had a little bit of interaction, usually with people to animals, and you're just trying to give that extra push and get them back out there. But we do 3,000 to 4,000 animals each year.
Let's talk about this deer here for a minute. Tell us about her.
Well, we have Beaker and Butterscotch, which are permanents. They came in as little fawns and had some issues and couldn't be released to the wild, and so they act as surrogates for us. Surrogates meaning when we've got fawns, we actually can be the ones feeding in a bottle, but we can have them out here and they lick each other and they learn all the snorts and when to spook and run, and it really makes a difference. They can be out here and they actually protect the fawns from predators. It makes such a difference to have something other than human interaction when you're raising babies.
You got a feed tub and a dun tub and all that good stuff?
A lot of the animals that come to us are orphaned. We get lots and lots of squirrels. The flying squirrel babies, they'll come in more in the winter months, and those are nocturnal, and they eat the same thing, but they're nocturnal, so they're only out at nighttime, and they're cute, but people are cleaning out bird houses and they find the baby flying squirrels, or they're doing some projects around the house and pull off some rotted piece and they find the babies this way.
The tree that they were nesting in was cut down, and the people had them overnight, so we were unable to reunite them with their mom. So that's how we got them. They also don't get as big as gray squirrels. With their dark coloration, you don't really see them even when they are out at night. They're very quiet.
If the parent gets separated for one reason or another, you may have baby raccoons that are nesting in the wrong place. Nesting meaning mom has gone in someone's attic and it's had to be removed. That attic space is really a hollow tree. Everybody goes and removes hollow trees and rotted trees, but that hollow tree is such a vital thing to your environment. You've got a food source and you've got a place to live. So you've got habitat for flying squirrels, you've got habitat for all types of cavity-dwelling birds, and you've got beetles and bugs and worms. And when you start taking all that away, you're disturbing their habitat. There's a lot of different reasons that animals come in. Let me think. The seabirds, for example, are things that come in with fishing line, fish hooks. Not that anyone's trying to cause a problem, but when animals get hungry, they do dumb things, and they will go after the lures that the fishermen toss, and they tend to get tangled up in things.
Sometimes it's difficult for a layperson to know whether a wild creature is in need of help.
We happened to notice what appears to be a female cormorant laying on the beach, and we thought maybe she was fine there, and then noticed that one leg was extended behind her. After observing her for a while, it seems that she was that she can't fly and she can't walk, and she's just tried to reposition herself several times.
Barbara Hughes is a frequent visitor to Northwest Florida. Late one afternoon, while enjoying the sun and surf on Pensacola Beach, she and her friend Robin noticed what seemed to be an injured seabird at water's edge. They summoned help and prepared to rescue the bird with a cardboard box and a beach towel.
Sorry, honey. Oh.
Quick.
Poor thing. Oh,
Yeah, there's
all right.
After keeping the bird in Robin's garage overnight, her husband brought it to the wildlife sanctuary where it was identified as a loon. The sanctuary had received several calls about the loon from people at Pensacola Beach who thought its legs were broken. But it turns out that this was not necessarily the case.
Well, usually what we see with loons is that because their legs are set so far back on their body that they cannot walk very well on dry land, people find them and they think, oh, its legs are broken. And it's just a matter of not knowing what's really going on there, because they don't walk very well. They do this weird kind of lunging thing. But people bring us loons all the time where they don't necessarily need to be rescued. It's just that they need to be relocated to like a beach or another good body of water, because what they have to do is, because they can't use their legs, they have to have a certain amount of water to be able to swim and take a flying takeoff from the water. So that's the kind of situation where it's always good to call, because you never know if there's like a parasite infestation or if the bird is really debilitated because it's emaciated, or if there is an injury. It can be hard to tell, and that's what we're trained to do. So it's always good to call, but sometimes in this situation it's best just to relocate the animal.
Shorebirds are not the only creatures likely to be found stranded on the beach. Sea turtles are rehabilitated by staff members of the Gulfarium in Fort Walton Beach, better known as a marine show aquarium. Behind the scenes, the Gulfarium operates facilities for the care of injured marine turtles.
I'm gonna give my friend Floater a little snack, and I'll be right back with you. Hi, Floater. Would you like some food, big girl? There you go. This is Floater. She's been in our park for about 10-15 years. She's actually a stranded turtle that we were rehabbing, because what you're actually looking at right now is our turtle sanctuary here at the Gulfarium. We are members of the Sea Turtle Stranding Network, which not a lot of people realize because this area is actually not allowed to the public. So Floater probably does look familiar to you guys because we usually do have her on display. And the reason she's a part of our family and that we have not released her is because of the severity of her injuries when she stranded years ago. She was hit by this boat propeller. When her shell tried to grow back together, she had a pocket of air trapped underneath there. And of course, that's the injury that she has now, and it holds her back from being released. Because of that pocket of air, she has a hard time diving down to swim, get away from predators, as well as a hard time chasing her food. So she is a permanent resident now, according to Florida Fish and Wildlife, who regulates all of this. Another reason Floater is here with us is she also has a difficult time swimming because her flippers are deformed too. When a sea turtle does strand, we are informed of that. Usually someone brings the turtle to us, and then the first thing we need to do is to look at what is wrong with the turtle, establish what needs to be done. Does it need to seek immediate treatment? Do we need to send it to the local vet's office to have things like fishing line entanglement removed, fishing hooks, or is it something internally like pneumonia or different things like that that we need to treat? So we assess the problem with the sea turtle, contact our vet, and then we discuss the appropriate method of treatment. Now once we start the treatment process with our sea turtle, if it's a simple thing like removing a fishing hook from their mouth, we might release them the next day. If it's something more severe like pneumonia, well, they may be here with us for a longer time because we want to make sure that when we release them, they are healthy enough to survive on their own.
We received this turtle back in February, and it was rehab from a cold stun event. He wasn't originally brought in a cold stun event, but he still was affected by it. So he was found later and had some issues going on with his flipper and then later on with the shell. So we had to rehab both these areas, get him good to where he was healthy, eating well and swimming well. You're still going to notice there are some issues going on with the shell, but our veterinarian as well as the state of Florida said that he was still good to go out. So he's healthy and we're ready to send him back out. He is a green sea turtle that was found right here in this area just down at Fort Pickens.
This is actually the 15th turtle that we're going to release this year, and we just released one on Friday, actually most recently, and even this morning over in the state of Alabama. So this will be the third one in just a couple of days that we've released, and number 15 for the year, and we're very proud and thrilled to be able to be a part of this type of conservation movement and effort to help conserve the sea turtle, which are endangered species, and they are on the endangered species list. All the sea turtles there's 6 different species of sea turtles altogether, and this Kemp's Ridley that we're releasing today, again on the endangered species list, one of our ways that we can give back to the environment and to our community by helping rehabilitate these animals and release them back out into the wild.
Located in Fort Walton Beach, the Emerald Coast Wildlife Refuge has a mission similar to that of the Wildlife Sanctuary of Northwest Florida, the care and rehabilitation of wild creatures, and educating the public.
And we have a huge education department. We do summer camps, spring break camps, a lot of events and things to interact with the kids within our own school district. This is Franklin. He is a gray fox, and he's part of our Animal Ambassador program. And Franklin was he's a case of someone took Franklin, who was not a licensed rehabilitator, and when he was a young kid, and they imprinted him. He was confiscated from them, and he was brought here, and that's why he's non-releasable. Franklin is harness trained. We use operant conditioning training on all of our animal ambassadors, and he will actually go out to different events. He loves to go out and meet school kids and do his part to help his wild cousins. We really feel that the Animal Ambassador program is the best way to get people engaged in these native species, meeting them face to face kind of changes your opinion sometimes of things that maybe you've heard that are old wives' tales. It's very important when you find an animal to get it to a licensed rehabilitator. Sometimes you think you're doing the right thing and you mean well, it just doesn't always end positively for the animal. Our mission is education, conservation, and rehabilitation for the welfare of Florida's natural fauna. Our daily operational goal is to rescue injured and orphaned native wildlife and release them back to the wild. This is a raccoon. He was hit by a car. He's undergoing a treatment of steroids right now, and he's making significant improvements, so we have a lot of hope for him to be released. This is a great blue heron, and he had a fish hook in his wing, and he is healing up really nicely. He will be released probably sometime next week. Right now we're not open to the public. We are strictly a wildlife hospital. And this is our ICU, and this is for our more critical patients. They're typically on meds every day or receiving different treatments. That's a Gopher Tortoise. The little guy next door to him is an eastern box turtle, and he was hit by a car, and he's undergoing some shell repair now. So he was extremely cracked here. Stephanie, our wildlife specialist, she just attended a conference that dealt with turtle shells, so she's using a new technique with him with some Bondo and different types of taping that will actually pull the turtle shell back together and allow it to heal.
Now this is a black and white skunk, and what I'm going to do is just take her heart rate and make sure that her heart sounds good. There's no problems there. And also checking her lungs, make sure she just doesn't have any respiratory issues going on with her. Everything sounds perfect with her.
We are the only organization from Walton County to the Alabama state line that does marine mammal stranding and rescue. We have a wonderful stranding team. It's made up of our staff. We have a marine mammal biologist on staff as well who heads up that team, and then a wonderful group of volunteers who have the specialized training in order to take care of the animals and themselves while being on the beach.
The Roy Hyatt Environmental Center, located north of Pensacola, introduces the natural world to school children in Escambia County. Teacher Molly O'Connor provides foster care for critters from the Wildlife Sanctuary of Northwest Florida, especially reptiles, such as turtles and snakes.
We have reptiles that need to be fed each day, and so we're going to go into the reptile room and feed some of our reptiles. These are our young alligator snapping turtles, and we are foster parents for the Wildlife Sanctuary. We are fostering these guys until they get big enough that they're not dinner, and then we will be releasing these to the wild. These are Hatchling Box Turtles that we have received from the Wildlife Sanctuary. These guys love all kinds of food. They are omnivores, so they eat not only the vegetation, but they will also eat worms. We quite frequently will feed them mealworms and crickets, and so they eat kind of a variety.
Okay, here we have Regis, who is our eastern king snake. He is native to this area. And king snakes eat not only mice and rats, but they can also eat other snakes, including those that are venomous. Regis has been here for 19 years. He's been here since he was a hatchling, and he is just a very, very nice, calm snake, but he is our snake ambassador, since so many people tend to be afraid of snakes.
Over here we've got our eastern glass lizards. These are also native species, and again, these were some teachers' pets, and they donated them to us so that as we're teaching about the students about lizards and snakes, they can see that some of the differences between our lizards and our snakes. Lots of people look at these and think they're snakes because they don't have any legs, but snakes have no eyelids and our lizards do. Snakes do not have ear openings and our lizards do, and so these are some of the things that we're able to show the students. The Roy Hyatt Environmental Center is owned and operated by Escambia County School District. Unfortunately, because of that, we are not open to the public, but we are able to educate children of all different schools from around the area. So daily we have school groups come and visit the Environmental Center for our educational programs. We do offer a couple of times a year open days to the public. October is our annual open house, in which is a large open day, and the public is welcome on that day, and quite frequently throughout the year we have other open to the public events. And with our reptile program, part of what we want to do is to teach the children about how valuable these animals are to us and to our environment, but at the same time get them to understand that keeping them captive as pets is not always a good thing, that these animals need to be free and they need to be in the wild environments in which they were intended to be.
Dorothy, let's talk about some of these baby pictures. Everybody loves babies, and you certainly have seen a lot come through here.
Yes, and you remember how I told you the evil plan was they're all cute? Well, it's true.
And they need help.
Anytime I'm together with my sisters and they start bringing out their phones and showing me the picture of the grandbaby, I go, look at mine. And I've got all these baby pictures on my phone. And so the baby raccoons, the baby fox, baby otters, not much cuter than a baby otter. Baby skunks are adorable, the little bobcats that come in, the gray fox. Again, skunks are something I absolutely adore. They're just so cute. These are a lot of the baby birds. Of course, they're always hungry. Not all are a little baby that you think. This is actually an eagle.
Is it?
It is the eagle. We are one of 9 facilities in the state of Florida that can do eagle rehabilitation. So we take in little eagles, the young eagles, and get them ready to go, which is really fun. Sometimes we just bring them back to their nest site and we can release them back on location. But we take them anywhere from Alabama over to Port St. Joe, Tallahassee, Crawfordville, all the way one side to the other.
I would imagine that volunteers are a very important part of the operation here.
Volunteers are everything. We absolutely could not be where we are today without volunteers. The volunteers have built all the units, all the aviaries, all the cages, all the educational things that you see here. We really don't pay for labor. This is all done with volunteer labor, which is amazing. And they do animal care, they do fostering, they answer the phone, answer the door, they'll do paperwork. They are everything. They do a lot of outreach programs with us. It's great.
This is the Wildlife Sanctuary's Christmas Open House and Supply Drive. We do this to give back to the community because they do support us during the year with donations of food, fish, meat, and monetary donations as well.
One of the things we do are collect supplies to help for the care and the actual running of the wildlife sanctuary, to cut our costs as much as possible, to provide as much for the wildlife as we can. Some of the supplies that people are bringing into us are things like dog food to help feed the foxes that we have here that are animals that can't be re-released. A lot of different bird seeds that go for the care of the birds, and just for general cleaning that we have around the sanctuary, laundry soap and dish soap. A lot of different food supplies such as peanut butter and animal crackers that might go into the care of feeding of the raccoons.
Well, this is a great horned owl, Barnum. He's about 13 years old. And he came to us about 13 years old, about 13 years ago as a baby. There was 2 of them, Barnum and Bailey. Bailey was releasable. Barnum has a permanent eye injury, so he wasn't able to be released. So we've used him for an educational animal. It's fun. And how many times do you get this close to an owl? You know? And it's a necessity. We put so many obstacles in their way, the least we can do is try our best to take care of what's left.
Releasing animals back to the wild is the best. And some people say, oh, you must be really sad to see it go. Well, sure, a little bit, but the fact is that's what your goal is. You just gave them that second chance.
The Wildlife Sanctuary of Northwest Florida is open to the public on a frequent basis, but you should check the sanctuary's website and call ahead for information about visiting hours. To get to the sanctuary from Interstate 10, travel south on I-110, then take the Cervantes Street exit west. When you reach North Pace Boulevard, turn south until you come to Wright Street, then go west again and follow the signs to the sanctuary. We hope you enjoyed this look at the people and places that care for the region's injured and orphaned wildlife. We'll see you again next time, right in your own backyard.